So welcome, 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 our brilliant colleague Elissa. We so appreciate your consistent leadership and solidarity. And as always at Setsi, we begin all things by giving thanks to the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We give thanks to all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We give thanks to all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, Alyssa, can you please share a little bit about your remarkable work and introduce yourself to our community of practice?
Thank you, Victor. It's really a pleasure to be here with you for this conversation. I'm really delighted. So my name is Elissa Strome. I am the Executive Director of the Pan-Canadian AI Strategy at CIFAR, which is a mouthful, but what it means is that it's my job. I often say, actually, I have the best job in Canada. It's my job to work with our three national AI institutes and researchers and leaders all across the country to advance Canada's leadership in AI research, talent, and innovation. And so the Pan-Canadian AI Strategy is an initiative that was funded and is funded by the federal government, launched originally in 2017. And at CIFAR, we were asked by the Government of Canada to help to develop this initiative and then also to deliver it. The purpose of the initiative really is to build on really decades of research leadership that we have been very privileged to have in Canada. We've had an amazing opportunity to build a very strong research ecosystem. We have researchers in Canada who have been responsible for some of the biggest advances in the science and technology of AI. And that history and that investment goes back many decades. So, in around 2017, 2016, even, the world was starting to wake up a little bit and understand the value and the potential of AI. And Canada had such a leadership role, and we didn't want to squander it. We didn't want to lose it. We were seeing increasing competition for talent from companies all over the world, particularly technology companies in Silicon Valley. So the students who were graduating out of Canadian universities, who were being trained in AI, who were the next generation of leaders, were getting great offers to go elsewhere. And so the research community, as well as the government, came together and said, we need to build something in Canada that is something more than a community of researchers, something that actually takes a full ecosystem approach. So that's what the Pan-Canadian AI strategy is designed to do, designed to build a very rich and deep community of people with AI skills and expertise, graduate students, professors, trainees working in the space of AI all across the country, and also really focusing and concentrating our efforts around the three centers of excellence in AI that we have in Canada. So through the Pan-Canadian AI strategy, we established three new national AI institutes. These are Amii in Edmonton, Mila in Montreal, and the Vector Institute in Toronto. And these are standalone research institutes that really bring together people working in AI across many, many different sectors so that we can foster collaborations between researchers and their students with companies, help to support new startup companies, help support and inform government policy, and be a place really where the AI ecosystem can converge. And so that's what we've been doing with CIFAR and the three AI institutes now over the last AI 8 years, really building a rich AI ecosystem all across Canada, centered in these three places, but really working with colleagues, researchers, companies all across the country.
That's truly remarkable. My goodness, that's a lot of work, intense work, and very inspiring. And a perfect segue to my next question. What's inspiring you right now about your current work, or what's keeping you up at night?
Sure. I have both. I can share both of those things with me because AI is one of those areas where, it was originally an area of science, an area of investigation and of discovery where curious humans wanted to understand, like, what is the nature of intelligence? What does it mean to learn? How can we mimic learning in humans and animals in machines? And then what's the value and the opportunity of machine learning and how it can be applied to our society? So it's something that started off as a scientific question, curiosity driven kind of research. And now, very quickly, this is a technology that is really, really disrupting our society. So the transition has been very quick from research to impact. And that's where some of the challenges come in for sure. And what we're seeing now, actually, as AI has been especially expanded to include the approach called generative AI. This is the approach that's taken through technologies like ChatGPT, image generating tools, music generating tools, text and voice and video generating tools. Those are all generative AI. They're sort of like today's generation of AI, the latest technologies that are commercially available. As that technology emerged, we started to understand that these capabilities of AI systems were becoming very, very strong and powerful. So the risks that are associated with powerful AI started to be like well within our imagination. And so people started to really try to understand what those risks are and how we can manage and mitigate and prevent them really from happening. And so some of the risks associated with like advanced AI models, we call them frontier AI models, or maybe like the next generation of AI models. Of course, issues that we've had with AI all along, things like bias and discrimination, those are unfortunate byproducts of sometimes how the AI systems are built, and we have to really design them very carefully and intentionally in order to avoid that. And it is a real risk. But we also have other risks associated with these powerful AI systems, and a particular risk that I'm worried about as the technology is being deployed more and more widely, as more individuals and companies and organizations are adopting AI, there's a huge environmental cost that goes along with that, right? So the development of these models is very, very intensive. It's energy intensive, it's water intensive, it takes huge computing infrastructure, and of course, all of the, hardware and materials and minerals that go into building that computing infrastructure. And it uses a ton of energy. Every time you use it, it uses a ton of energy. And so this is one of the concerns that I have. This is one of those things that's keeping me up at night. And it's something that we think a lot of at CIFAR, and it's an area of research that we're actively supporting. And I think it's an area that Canada has an opportunity to be a leader in. You also asked me about what excites me and what inspires me about the work that we're doing. And there's a lot. And I actually really am somebody who firmly believes that the opportunities of AI are very significant if we can manage those risks and if we can and get those risks under control. And that's why I'm in the field, right? I do believe that it has the potential to deliver really significant social and economic benefits. And the area that most inspires me, most excites me, is the opportunity for AI to really help to revolutionize our healthcare system. I think AI for health, again, is one of those areas where Canada has a lot of great strengths, a lot of great assets. When we look at our publicly funded healthcare system, when we look at the diversity of the data that's available in Canada because of the diversity of our population, there's a huge opportunity for us to build AI tools, products, services, supports, assistance for physicians and other healthcare providers to really, really basically deliver better healthcare for Canadians, better outcomes, and ultimately to save lives. And so that's, I think, an opportunity that Canada really needs to get serious about.
That's incredible and not just inspiring, but I think the way you contextualize all those pieces around the true costs of AI in terms of environments, the human toil, but not just that, the opportunities, the emerging trends, like it's a really exciting time to be alive and to be on the cusp of this research. But I think balancing that risk piece,
Yeah,
I think you articulated that so well. So once again, thank you for your leadership.
thank you.
So my next question is, what challenges and barriers do you face in your work, and how are you and your colleagues working to overcome some of these challenges and barriers?
Yeah, great. And maybe I'll tie it to those examples that I gave around both the inspiration and the worries around AI. So when we think about AI for health, for example, our healthcare system is decades old. It's got many weaknesses, many challenges associated with it. It's not just one healthcare system, it's 13 healthcare systems, one in every province and territory. And then often within even a province, the healthcare system is really hospital by hospital or region by region. And so this lack of cohesiveness, this lack of continuity across our healthcare system represents a really, really significant challenge and barrier to the further adoption of AI, for all Canadians, for, healthcare practices all across the country. There are definitely some things that we can do to help reduce those barriers. I think it's interesting. We're in a moment in Canada right now where barriers between provinces in all kinds of contexts are starting to come down, right? With the removal of barriers to interprovincial trade. We're starting to understand that we do have a lot of opportunities to collaborate and work together across Canada. And I hope that that message also applies to thinking about how can we collaborate on AI and AI for health across Canada. This one opportunity that is so unique and represents an opportunity to do such good for our society. Wouldn't that be a great priority for us to think about? So bringing down some of those barriers and challenges, thinking about the kinds of leadership that we need to embark on that kind of moonshot kind of initiative, it's huge, right? Like I'm asking a lot here, and I recognize that. And so we also need, we need great leadership, we need great investments, we need collaboration across the country. We need some, shared vision, but also like sharing of talent and expertise and resources, right? We really kind of need to pool what we have together across the country in order to do something that's for the good of us all together. And so, that's a kind of a grand and a bold vision, but there are people working on this initiative and these ideas across the country. And definitely, I think we're starting to get a broader conversation about why and how this is such an opportunity for Canada. So I'm hopeful and I'll continue to champion that work as well. When I think about the environment, the challenges and the barriers around mitigating the environmental risks of AI, it's interesting because in Canada we're a little bit limited in our resources compared to some other AI nations or other organizations that are thinking about advancing and developing and commercializing AI. And one of the things we're limited in is our compute power, right? Like we don't have infinite computing resources available to our research ecosystem, to our startup ecosystem, to companies, and to governments. I contrast that to like some of the major tech firms in the US. If we look at OpenAI, all of its money for the last 5 years has been invested in computing power because they knew that that's what they needed. That was the rate limiting factor for them to be able to achieve really, really, really powerful AI systems. In Canada, we have to work with what we've got, right? We've got great expertise. We've got good access to data and the kinds of data that we need to be able to build AI systems, with some challenges, right? I talked about the access to healthcare data being a bit of a challenge. Um, and we have some compute, enough compute resources, but not infinite. So how do we design our AI systems to be more efficient? How do we optimize the algorithms that we're using? How do we train our models on less data so that we use less cycles? How do we build AI computing infrastructure that is new and innovative, maybe uses different materials that aren't, as difficult to extract from the environment or damaging to extract from the environment. I think there's a huge opportunity for innovation in that area and thinking about how do we reduce the environmental impact of AI. And I think that Canadian researchers are interested and motivated. And I think we feel a bit of a responsibility as well too in Canada to ensure that the AI systems that we are building is delivering social good and not doing harm. And so I think we have a strong culture in Canada of what we call responsible AI. It's something that we've been really committed to in our research ecosystem for decades. We've been world leaders in thinking about responsible AI. And that culture and that commitment to responsible AI actually has spread, and we see it now in companies that are adopting AI. We see it now in governments and government policies that are focused on safe and responsible AI. And so, if anywhere is going to pursue an AI agenda that is designed to deliver benefits to society, and I hope it will be Canada.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for all those actionable insights. I'm hearing systems level thinking, systems coordination, incentives for collaboration, collective impact. Like it's truly tremendous what's possible, especially when getting to the granular components of we have the expertise, we have the
Yeah.
data. but the compute isn't there, so we have to innovate. We have to
Yeah.
build infrastructure that makes sense for people and planets. So very well articulated, and thank you for your remarkable leadership. So my next question is, and once again, you've covered some of this, but are there
Yeah.
some key priorities you'd like to amplify to our community of practice?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So at CIFAR, we're one part of the AI ecosystem. So we have, a role to play in this broader jigsaw puzzle that makes up all of AI in Canada. And so our focus really is on research and talent. That's what we do best. That's where our history is. We're a Canadian-based international research organization. We've been doing this for over 40 years. And so that's where we focus. That's where we focus our priorities and our efforts and our mandate and our vision. And so, really for Canada to continue to be successful in AI, we need to keep investing and building and advancing the science of AI. And so we do that by investing in AI researchers all across the country, not just technical researchers, by the way. Computer science is the major field that dominates here, but we also need to be investing in social sciences research, understanding the legal, the ethical, the social implications of AI at the same time in order to actually be able to understand and derive those social and economic benefits downstream. So research is essential. Investing in people is essential. I've always said that the biggest asset in our AI ecosystem is great people with great ideas. That's how we're going to get innovation and positive social impact. And so that's what we'll do at CIFAR. We'll continue to support that work. We have also a particular focus on the next generation of researchers. So thinking about those early career, they could be still students and trainees that are just getting into the field of AI or are interested in getting into the field of AI. We've always had a focus at CIFAR on ensuring that our AI training programs are inclusive and diverse and that we're providing opportunities for students, from all across the country, from all different identities and all different perspectives. And so really, thinking about how do we continue to encourage young people to get into this field? How do we make sure that they have mentorship, training opportunities, and opportunities to pursue their education and their careers in this field is also really important to us. And then the last priority that I wanted to share with you is a new initiative that we have been working on at CIFAR in collaboration with the Government of Canada. In November of last year, the government announced a new Canadian AI Safety Institute. This is part of an international network of AI safety institutes. It's an initiative that is really led through ISED within the Government of Canada. And a part of what they do, the mandate is to work with our counterparts all across the world, to really think about those risks associated with very advanced AI systems, the most powerful systems that are coming, that are on the horizon. How can countries around the world, like-minded countries, cooperate on understanding those risks, as well as, building safeguards and governance to be able to manage those risks at the same time? And how do we cooperate internationally to do that? A key part of AI safety is also understanding these systems better from a fundamental perspective and pursuing research. And so at CIFAR, our contribution to the Canadian AI Safety Institute is to run an academic research program on this topic. And so we've been recruiting our researchers across the country that are working at the very leading edge of AI, thinking about those safety issues of advanced systems, thinking about what are the safeguards that we can build into them, what are the technical approaches that we can take to managing advanced AI systems. And we're also working actively to think about the social impact of advanced AI systems and how do we understand that social impact? How do we mitigate those risks to society? How do we bring in people who understand the social impact of AI and bring them into the conversation with the technologists at the same time so that we're working across disciplines to understand some of these risks. So AI safety research is a big priority for us right now.
Incredible. So my second last question, what is your ultimate goal and what does success
Yeah.
look like and feel like to you and your colleagues?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been in this field now directly for 8 years, indirectly for more like 12. And I've seen AI literally go from like a research project, within the university to now being in in all of our homes, in all of our devices, a tool that we interact with almost every day. So ultimately, what I would like to see is that Canada really can experience the social and economic benefits of AI, that this is a tool, this is a technology that was primarily initially developed in Canada, and that that every Canadian can experience some of those potential benefits of AI. I think for that to happen, AI literacy is a big part of that. We need to make sure that Canadians across the country, all ages, all demographics, have an opportunity to learn and understand more about AI, have an opportunity to be a part of the conversation around AI, and if they're interested, to be part of this field because it is a technology that is becoming more and more widespread across all kinds of jobs, all kinds of sectors, all kinds of opportunities across the country. So that for me is are the two ultimate goals of the work that we do.
Incredible. My last question. Do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and our viewers?
Great. Thank you so much. I think that's it. What I just said about the opportunity for people all across the country to be part of the AI ecosystem. That's the message that I would like to leave people with is that AI is not just anymore for people in technology companies or researchers at universities. AI is a tool that all of us can start to experiment with. There's lots of tools available. I know that a lot of people haven't had the chance to do that yet, haven't had a chance to start to play with it, haven't had a chance to think about how they might integrate it into the work that they do, into their communities, into the teaching and learning that they're a part of. But I would encourage people to experiment with the tools, the free ones that are available. I would encourage people to have conversations about what is the role of AI in our society? What are the things that we are excited about, passionate about? Is healthcare one of those areas? What about the environment? Start to talk about some of the issues and opportunities of AI in a broader context, because these are issues that touch all Canadians, and everybody should have a chance to participate. And so my closing thought is just to encourage everybody to think about this as an opportunity. This is a place where there's a role for everybody in our AI ecosystem, and we'd love to see lots of different ideas and perspectives be included.
Thank you so much for all that context, your leadership, transparency, candor, and brilliance. So we really appreciate all that you do for so many. And once again, this has been a remarkable conversation and so many actual insights to unpack. So we really appreciate you. And as always at Setsi, we close this conversation, this interview the way it began, by giving thanks to the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We give thanks to all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassionate compensation. We give thanks to all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much. We really
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Victor. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you.